All right, now we're cooking with gas. Okay, so on number one, it says which one does not represent a function, right? What are our two function rules? Do you remember what they are? So the x's are unique. It cannot repeat. And what's the other one? The other one is the vertical line test. That's the one we use with graphs. Okay, so for this one, we're going to look at A. Okay, so look at only the x value. We don't care about the other values. All we care about is x. So here's 2. For A, I've got 2, 7, and 3. Okay, so here's 2, 7, and 3. Those are all different. So this one is yes, it's a function. Okay, this one is 5, 3, and 7. Those are all different. So yes, it's a function. Answer choice C has 2, 2, and 2 in the x place, in the x for the x values. So this one's not a function. D has 8, 3, and 9. So that is a function. So what's your answer for number one? It's C. Okay. Number two. Erase all this. Okay. Number two. Given the function f of x equals 3x squared minus 7, find the range if the domain is -3. Okay, so there's several ways you can do this. But first, let me ask, what does domain tell you? What does domain stand for? Which variable? Is it x or y? It's x. So they're saying when x is 3, find the range, and the range is your y. Okay, I don't know why that didn't show up. There we go. So the range is the y. So all this one is substitution. Okay, so all you're going to do is, this is one way, you can do 3 times -3 squared, subtract 7, and put it in your Inspire. So I'm going to pull up my Inspire. I'm going to press home. I'm going to go to my calculator app, and then I'm going to type in 3 times -3 squared, subtract 7. And what do I get? I get 20. Okay, now, let's say you don't like that method. How can we solve this using the graph? Press your home button. Do it with me now. Press your home button. You have it in there already? Okay. Press your home, go to your graph app, and then I'm going to type in 3x squared, subtract 7. And then I hit enter. All right. So now from here, I can hit Control T to get to my table. Move this out of my screen here so I can hit the T. Let's try it again. Control T to go to the table. And now remember the little skinny column over here to the left, that's your x's. So I'm looking for -3 in the x column. What's across from -3? 20. Okay. So the first way we did it was in the calculator app. This way right here we just did was graph and table. We graphed the function and went to the table. Can you think of another way we can use the Inspire to figure out the answer? Okay. The next way is graph and trace. So I'm going to hit menu, trace, graph trace, and I'm looking down here in the bottom left right hand corner, and I'm going to keep moving my arrow to the left until I get to -3 in my x value, and there it is. So if I look down here, When x is -3, what is y? It's 20. Okay, so that's 3 different ways you can do that. Calculator app, graph and trace, and graph and table. Pick the one that you like and stick with it. So which one do you like for this type of problem? The calculator app, graph and trace, or graph and table? Huh? I can't hear you.
Control T.
So what's the strategy? Say it correctly, please.
Graph and table.
Thank you. All right, let me get rid of this right here. And let's go on to number 3. Okay, number 3 says solve the following equation for y. 6x subtract 2y equals 12. Okay, so the first thing I notice, they don't have this in standard form. In standard form, the x comes first, right? But I don't have to change it, but I'll show you more than one way. Okay, so I'm going to separate my sides. I need to move my x, so I do the opposite. Add 2x, add 2x. Okay, that gives me 6y equals 2x plus 12. All right, what do I do now? What do I have to get rid of to isolate y? Well, what's over here with the y? 6. How do I get rid of the 6? Do I add, subtract, multiply, or divide?
Subtract.
What operation does 6y tell you? Is it add, subtract, multiply, or divide?
Subtract.
When you have a number and a variable next to each other, a constant and a variable, that's multiplication. That means 6 times y. Remember, mathematicians are lazy and they don't like to write everything. So they just put them next to each other. It means multiplying. What's the inverse of multiplication? What's the inverse of multiplication? What's the opposite of multiplying? Dividing. So divide by 6, divide by 6, divide by 6. Okay, if I'm writing it up here, you should be writing it on your paper if you don't have it already. So these cancel out, and all I have left is y. When I put this in my Inspire, go to my Inspire, I'm going to press home, press the calculator app, and I'm going to put in 2 divided by 6, and that gives me 1/3. So this is 1/3 x. And then if I can't do the next one in my head, I'm going to go to my graphing calculator. I'm going to type 12 divided by 6, and that gives me 2. So plus 2. So that's my answer for number 3. Y equals 1/3 x plus 2. All right, last one. Okay, the last one, number 4. Okay, so for number 4, I need to solve for g. Make this a little bit bigger so I can write it a little bigger. Okay, so I notice I have 2 terms with the same variable. So before I start moving stuff, I've got to combine those 2. So what's -3g plus 8g? What's -3 plus 8? Put it in your Inspire if you can't do it in your head. Okay, so that's 5g plus 24 less than 60. Okay, now what do I have to move in order to get g by itself? What do I move first? Is 60 on the same side as the g? No, it's on the other side. What's on the same side with the g? 24. So how do I get 24 to the other side? What's the opposite operation of adding 24? Subtract 24. Subtract 24. So that gives me 5G is less than 60. Subtract 24. You can't do it in your head. Go to your Inspire. Do 60, subtract 24, and you get 36. Okay. What do I do next to isolate the G? Remember, 5G means 5 times G. So what's the opposite of multiplication? Division. So now I have G is less than 36 over 5. And if I change that to a decimal, I go right here and do 36 divided by 5. Hit Control Enter. Oops, hit the wrong button. Hit Control Enter, and then it'll change it to a decimal. Remember, you can also do 36 divided by 5, arrow over, and put your period, and then it'll also change it to a decimal. So this would be 7.2. All right, so let's recap. Let me recap my answers here. And remember, you have to have your work shown for every single problem. If you don't have enough space in the little square, that's fine. Just put it on the back or put it on another sheet of paper. All right. So our answer for number 1 was C. What did you get for number 2? What did we get for number 2? 20. Okay. What did we get for number 3? Y equals 1/3 x. And then for 4, we have G is less than 36 over 5, or you could write G is less than 7.2. All right. Easy breezy lemon squeezy, kind of greasy.